There I was, just minding my own business, when suddenly I got summoned into a white room. Apparently, some blonde girl used a gotcha roll, and I was the prize that popped out. I'm now her dungeon master. She's apparently something called a dungeon core, and there are bandits that have taken over the dungeon and are currently using the physical manifestation of the dungeon core as a footrest. Well, nothing I can do about it. I'll just go to sleep. As I'm sure you gleaned from the title, Lazy Dungeon Master is the subject of today's video. Written by Supana Onakage, this ecchi light novel series is isekai trash at its finest. The story follows young Kima Masuda, whose favorite hobby is sleeping. He requires 14 hours a day, at least, in order to function. In this new world he finds himself in, dungeons not only exist, they have physical avatars. Not all are humanoid. Dungeon cores come in all shapes and sizes. Flowers, rabbits, demons, dragons, chaos incarnate. But this one is in the form of a young woman named Rokuko. After waking up from his nap, Kima finds he's able to use the dungeon core system. It's similar to many video games he remembers playing. Map creation, setting traps, a resource system that allows him to summon monsters or various other objects, even the gacha system that summoned him in the first place. Unfortunately, the way this dungeon was set up convinces Kima that Rokuko is an idiot. There is a single hallway ending in a single room with the dungeon core at its center. If someone were to smash that core, Rokuko would die. Oh, and apparently Kima as well. And a gang of bandits has taken up residence in the dungeon. But wait, the bandits are considered enemies. And one of the best ways to acquire additional dungeon points is to have enemies in the dungeon. So all we have to do is convince them not to break the dungeon core, and we can just start racking up points. The initial appeal of this story is, of course, the ecchi elements. And let me say there are a lot of ecchi elements for every taste. My personal favorite one is later on in the books, a group of succubi become nuns, and their robes, which were proper robes and habits, shrink and become lewd revealing lingerie due to their inherent powers. But my favorite part about this series is that it's basically a tower defense isekai. Where a lot of isekai base their world on RPGs or MMOs, this one focuses on building a base, utilizing the equipment or spells you've acquired, and defending it from outside forces. You want to make your dungeon appealing to adventurers, but not so difficult that it's impossible for people to even want to attempt it. The climax of the first novel is a tower defense game between the largest and most powerful dungeon in the world and our main character, Kima. And it has one of the funniest jokes I've ever read. I won't spoil it, but I do want to talk more about the first book in this series. If you don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead to the timestamp on the screen now. Haku, Dungeon Core number 89, has adopted Rokuko as her little sister. They are both humanoid dungeon cores, and Haku, being from the first 100 dungeon cores ever created, is centuries older than Rokuko. Her dungeon is located in the center of the Empire, more than 2 weeks away by carriage, and the Imperial capital was built around it. In fact, every person living in the capital is considered an invader to her dungeon, so she's acquiring millions of dungeon points every week. A long time ago, Haku had a dungeon master as well. The man apparently accessed part of her menu and granted himself full control over Haku. She thought she was in love with this human man, and spent almost 70 years with him until his death. And then she realized what he'd done to her. Overcome with fully justified rage at the mind control this man had done to her, she nearly killed Kima when she found out that he also had full control over Rokuko. However, Kima assured her that the only command he'd ever given Rokuko was to be quiet and let him sleep. Thoroughly chastised, Kima willingly relinquishes full control. But the match still happens to a hilarious conclusion. If you want to see exactly how it plays out, you'll have to read it yourself. Unfortunately, there are no physical copies available in North America, but you can pick up all 15 books on Bookwalker. Link in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. I love this series, and the ending is coming soon. It wouldn't surprise me to see this becoming an anime, as the story is genuinely funny and the characters are a delight to read. If you want some lighthearted adventures with silly situations, you should check out Lazy Dungeon Master. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. Please like and subscribe for more content. I post new anime, manga, or light novel videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Or you can click here for more fantasy or isekai content. Stay safe, and I'll see you all again next time on Musings by Danon.